guys because, without you, I wouldn't be here. Your support and your care and everything that you are just really helped propel me to this point. So I'm super grateful and going to miss Big Blue Nation so much. But I'm forever a Wildcat, so I'll definitely be back. So yeah, until next time.
That's driven, some carry to left center. And gone! Steer yanks one to the gap.
Move that back foot.
Oh, driven to right center by the Rook. And out of the yard. Stewart slugs again.
Back to No Filter Radio with Alan Cutler. Podcasts on Apple, Spotify, and Google, Monday through Friday.
Good afternoon. I'm Alan Cutler, honored and pleased to be with you. Thank you so much for joining me between now and 2 o'clock, or if you're listening live anywhere in this country, and some people outside the country, or on a podcast tonight or tomorrow morning. You can, of course, check us out on the ESPN Lexington app. I got a ton of UK basketball, but let's start with the sound that we just heard. Kenny Brooks going gaga for his ladies, 4 drafted. And as we said, you know this, if Clara Strack gone into the draft, it'd have been 5. I wonder if Clara Strack is making more money by staying here next year than going in the WNBA draft. And with another great year, whatever her status is, it will just go up. It's a great day for Kentucky women's basketball. But I wonder if the sum wasn't as equal to the individual parts. And I'm not knocking Kentucky. They had a great year, but they would have had 5 kids drafted. And look, running into Texas is running into Texas, but they played Texas really well early in the year before they dropped. Brooks has done a marvelous job. It's a fair question. It is a fair question. And I'm not sure I have the answer, but I've asked a couple people who follow the women's game. And I'm sure there are some people who love UK basketball. How could you possibly ask this? You're saying, if I want to say it, I'm just going to say it. Okay, but I ask questions. Sometimes you don't like questions, and you know what? Too bad. It's a fair question. You learn things by asking questions, and I do it respectfully. So happy for Key, happy for Brooks, happy for all the ladies who were drafted, happy for the young players that they're bringing in now, and let's see when he's finished. And I bet he has a hell of a team next year. All right, now let's go to the Reds. Somebody get Matt Jones a calculator. He loves the Reds, has tickets and stuff like that. Matt, I'm picking on you, but I say it with 10 to 11K. He was just complaining about the Reds. They're 10-7. They're not winning pretty, but they're winning in a way that's actually fascinating in a way they couldn't 5 years ago, in a way they couldn't when I did 700 WLW for years, and they had all kinds of things that they stunk at, and their defense wasn't good, and their pitching wasn't good. They're 10-7. Jimmy, do a little math. Times each by 9. That is 90 and 63. Wait a second, Jimmy. You're going to tell me they play 162 games. Right. Well, that's 153. I don't have to write this down. I do this stuff in my head. So if they only played 153 games, they would win 90. Well, you got 9 more games. They might win a couple more. On pace to. That doesn't mean it's going to happen. They could fall apart, and they could do better. There's no question about it. They could start hitting better, and then their pitching stinks. I mean, it's all kinds of ways of winning. Okay, it's what gets you to the finish line. And the formula right now for the Reds isn't great, but it is. They're 10-7. They're on pace for over 90 wins. Shut up. If you want to complain about certain things they're not doing, I am with you 100%. With you 100%. But look at what they're doing. Look at back that Singer, who was bad earlier, and they worked with him in the bullpen, and they fixed it. He said they fixed it, and they tweaked a couple of things on him, and he did much better. Gave you 6 wonderful innings. And Ashcraft and Santine and Pagan, boom, boom, boom. 1 hit over 3 innings. That's it. That's it. They won with defense, and Hal McCoy is coming on later, and they are winning close games. Had they won some more close games last year when they sucked, they would have won well over 90 games. They are winning close games. Tell that to Matt Jones. Jeez, learn something about baseball. That means they have confidence. That means their defense is much better. That means also they were the last team to get an error this year. And I can complain about all kinds of things about the Reds. McClain, one of the great spring trainings of all time, and right now he sucks with a bat, batting .210. I thought he'd be out of it. Maybe he will, but right now he is not. He is not. Ellie's playing great. As of the other night, I didn't add it up from last night, but as of the other night, he was on pace for over 50 home runs and over 50 stolen bases. And Stewart, wow, he's got 5 home runs after the one we just played, and 11 RBIs. And Steer, who started off awfully and is still awful, but he's going to be just fine. He will just be fine if you just play him every day. He's only batting 185, but he's got 3 home runs and 5 RBIs. And I would assume if he's healthy, he'll have over 90 RBIs. Think about it. Think about it. 10-7, 10-7. And you hear every pitch right here on 1300 AM and 92.5 FM. Complain about what they don't do. Look at what the hell they're doing. Boom. The positive side of their bullpen is really good. I mean, really good. Best in baseball? No. Better than it has been in years? I think so. Ashcraft, Santillan, and Pagan, that's pretty damn good. It is. It's the other side of the bullpen that worries me. Okay, enough on that. We'll talk more Reds baseball at 1 o'clock. And I hope we play some Justin Berg sound. It's kind of interesting. With Pete Nocta and Justin Berg, they were roommates in college. And I've mentioned this before. I covered Pete Nocta and Justin Woods in high school. I know actually Nocta's dad a lot more because his dad was the head coach at Takes Creek, did a wonderful job, became a principal. I need to ask him to come on the air. And I expected Pete to be a wonderful kid because of his dad. It's pretty simple. And Pete's the salt of the earth. And I thought Kentucky should have recruited him. They thought he was too slow. He was a hell of a player. He'd knock you on your fanny, Jimmy. Let me tell you that. Okay, so he was slow. He's a really, 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 really good football player. Didn't say NFL player, really good, and he should have been here. But the way it works out, it's interesting that Burke, I think it's crazy. Burke and Nocta, assistants at UK, and they were college roommates. It's about as good as it gets. And it's just interesting and weird seeing Justin Burke as this huge man with the beard versus when he played quarterback at Catholic. And I thought he was a hell of a quarterback in high school. And he played for Louisville. And I think he's a great guy. Nocta too. So some of the people on this Stein staff are wonderful. I need to shut up because I need to flip into UK basketball. Oh, no, I got to do an NBA thing. Did you get Hero's shot at the end and what happened at the end of Miami? You got that, right?
Yes.
Okay, do me a favor. Play that. And what Hero did in the process of not having a great game, he had a great finish, and I'm so pissed at Ball, and I'm really ticked off at the refs. The refs suck. Here it is.
Get it in. Hero. Oh, tough delivery. He buries it from the corner. It's a 3. 7 seconds. Ball to drop. And Ball lays it out.
There's no timeouts left for Miami.
Charlotte up by 1. The drop. It's over. Mitchell got negated. The Hornets win it.
You know, it looked like Mitchell had the game winner, and he's interesting. I was talking to Hoops last night, and when he came out of Baylor, Jimmy, I thought he was going to be a great player right away, and I was wrong. I loved him in college. He has finally turned into a heck of a player. And when he drove down that lane, I thought he had it. Bridges came out of nowhere to make a block after Bridges earlier had made a reverse layup that should be a top 10 play on ESPN. But here's the deal with Hero. They're down, I think it was 5 points. It was under a minute to go. Jimmy, you saw it, I'm sure, right? That turnaround from the baseline, that turnaround, boom, he hits it, and then he goaded in, I can't remember who it was, the Charlotte player to foul him on the 3, and he had this big grin because I could tell he was doing it. He did too, and he needed to hit all 3. He hit all 3, nothing but net to put them at 1, and then they're up 1, and it looked like win and the block at the end. Here's what's happening. Some of the NBA games at the end of the year suck. I feel sorry for the people that are paying hard-earned money for it. The effort sucks. The NBA should be embarrassed and ashamed of themselves. If I paid money, and what I would do, I would spot check it. I kind of watch a game if it's not OKC. And OKC was winning big without them playing really hard either at times because the other team was playing awful. What was the game the other night? One of the former Kentucky kids did really well. They won 147-101. There's no carrying. There's no defense. There's no anything. So I watched a little of the Portland game late, and they're flying all over the place. Both teams flying all over the place. The effort is unbelievable. And in the Miami game in Charlotte, the effort was unbelievable. It was great. This is great basketball. I know that there's no question that you can't get guys to play the same way for the first 82 games, but it's got to be better at the end. It does. It sucks. It just really sucks. But I'm watching last night, and here's a lot of you are down on the NBA and won't look at the playoffs because you think the NBA stinks. But what I saw I just had to go to sleep. Jimmy, I was glued. And guys are talking to each other at huddles, and you see the energy and what they're doing. It's beautiful basketball. Now, I don't know why you can't do it all year round. I would like to see it, and they could do a better job. Not the point. To Bam. LaMelo Ball took him out. Okay? So Bam played 11 minutes. And there's no doubt in my mind if Bam played, they would have won the game. He's averaging 20 and 10. He's clutch. I like how they showed the pictures. I retweeted it, walking in and stuff like that. He's a stud. He is a stud. And he was hurt. And Ball hurt him. And he should have been thrown out of the game. Now, he's apologized afterwards. Okay. Should have been thrown out of the game. Some of the stuff that goes on in basketball, you need to throw some people out of the game to calm some of this crap down. I felt bad for Miami. I did. Felt awful for Miami. It was just BS. By the way, I hope this is the last NBA tidbit. I got to get into UK. SGA just tops Michael Jordan for when he hit 31 points a game. Guess what? He averaged 55% from the field. That's tops MJ when you score over 31. That's past a while to me. It's just past a while. Okay, to UK. And I hope that Lute Olson isn't coming back again. Lute Olson, of course, passed away a while ago. He was the Arizona coach who beat Kentucky. When Eddie Sutton ended up being hired, and I was in Pittsburgh, but when I came back, I talked to a whole lot of folks. And it's interesting how there are people swearing on both sides going back to the 80s. There were people swearing that Olson was going to be the coach and change his mind at the last second because he wanted to live in Arizona. And then there were people who I know went to their grave. I'm being serious now, always believing that Olson used Kentucky to get a better contract at Arizona, which he got, which was the kind of contract at that point in time that was unbelievable. I honestly don't know which one it is. Kentucky, if this is happening, and I seriously suspect that it is, isn't the only place where one bounces one thing off another. Matt Jones, you're a businessman, and what you said was silly. Okay? Silly. You should know better. When somebody says this is the final offer, it's more often than not the final offer. This is not because it's about me. There was a point in time where VLK and LAP were both coming after me at the same time. And as much as I always wanted that kind of thing, it really wasn't comfortable. And this was one afternoon, and it's amazing how LAP swears they didn't say a word. I never said a word, but VLK found out about it. Salespeople from radio stations, they know each other, they're friends, and they talk to each other. And TV stations, too. It happens all the time. It's one of those quiet things. Some of these people used to work with each other. You switch stations and all that kind of stuff. So VLK out of nowhere calls me in a huff. And I don't know if they wanted me so much as they didn't want me to go to LAP. So it was double sets of phone calls each way. And then the third time I said, here's the deal. Okay? Each one individually. And when I told LAP, VLK is calling me. I don't know how they called me. And I'm comfortable. We're going to get rid of this today one way or the other. I was very uncomfortable. I said, here, I'm going to tell you the same thing. And LAP was getting really mad at me. Who told her? And I said, here's the deal. I didn't tell them. And if you think I'm lying, then we're done. And they backed up quickly. I don't lie. When I'm serious, I just don't lie. A lot of things I'm going to tell you, but I don't lie. I said, here's the deal. Call me back with your best offer. Okay? And I'm telling them the same thing. They both called me back. They both raised the offers. LAP's was better. I thought about it. I really wanted to go with VLK because they were the Kentucky station, LAP, and I did not trust, and I ended up being right, did not trust they would let me be me, even they told me that I could be me, and they decided not to let me be me, and they fired me, and I had the best ratings in town. Neither here nor there. The point is, when VLK called me and said, hey, what'd you decide? And I said, LAP gave the best offer. And Jimmy, you know what they said? We would have raised our offer. And I got mad. I said, wait a second. You said that was a final offer, and I told you that I was abiding by it. And they even said, guess what? Can you back out of it? And I went, no. And that's how I ended up at LAP. So here's the deal. I don't give a crap if BYU has told, and I can't swear by this, if they have told Wright, the point guard, that it's their final offer. I don't give a crap because people change their minds all the time. Will BYU? I have no idea. And I'm not even going to guess. I'm as honest as I have no idea. But when somebody says, hey, this is your best offer, BS. Sometimes it is. Sometimes it's not. Okay? And here's what I don't know. And I'm a little concerned. Has Stokes used UK to get a better deal from Kansas? I don't know this. Is it in my mind? Yes. Has Wright used UK to get a better deal? I don't know this. Is it in my mind? Yes. And by the way, it's not like Kentucky would be the first one. I can't believe I'm waiting to 15 after to say this, but I said it yesterday. I'm very careful, and I've said this many times about saying I know about money specifically. Okay? Very careful. Because with all these deals, the overwhelming time, I'm not. I don't know. And if I think it's ballpark and somebody else is saying, and I think it's got some credibility, but I don't know, and I will say it because it's a talk show. Okay? I will say it. But when I know money, I will tell you I know money. Okay? I will tell you. I have an impeccable source that told me, and I said this at the end of the show yesterday, that Stokes asked for $9 million. Now, we played sound bites yesterday from Jeff Goodman of Field of 68 with stuff that I've been hearing for quite some time about how he's a tough kid to deal with and he's the show and guys don't want to play with him. And I said it then and I say it now and I said it before Jeff put those comments on. I would still take him. The kid wants to come, I would still take him, and I trust Pope could deal with him. I do. He's a smart guy. Do I think related to every ball player that's been here? Hell no. Every coach doesn't either. But he is not. He is not. I would take him, keep my eyes open, know what's going on. What did I also tell you? I've been doing this for a while. Take a deep breath. It's not who you miss, it's who you get. If they don't get Ryder or Stokes, and I've been telling you, Stokes wasn't going to leave Lexington with a decision unless he changed his mind. Kristen Peak, I gave her credit for something else too, because she said the same thing, and she knows the young man and did an interview with the young man. I would have been shocked. I don't know. It's recruiting. People change their minds and all those kinds of things. I've been really surprised if Stokes made a decision about coming to Lexington while he was here. So I was kind of like, okay. The right thing is different. There were all kinds of reports from reputable sources that said that Kentucky was in the lead. And then I think it was Travis Branham. And if I'm wrong, I'm sorry, but he does a really good job, that when he left, things changed and Kentucky probably wasn't in the lead. Now, that could be wrong, but he's really good. Good enough for me to mention it, okay? Good enough for me to mention it. That's not good. So if Pope doesn't get these two guys, I'm not saying Pope can't recruit. I'm not going to do that. I don't think it's fair. Now, when the roster is complete, and I know there might be some players on the team that maybe I don't know. I knew about Owe before you guys did, and I said right away he was going to be special. Right away, because I knew. I knew some people. It's all good. And I never got enough credit for it. But I understand. If I had 50 stations, I would get more credit for it. I get it. It's the world that I live in, and I'm happy to live in this world. Happy. I love doing this. It's all good. It's all good. Point is this. When the roster is set, now this is my show with my opinion as you have your opinions. If I think the roster sucks, I'm going to say it. When the roster is set, if I think it's good, I'm going to say it. I'm the most unbiased person behind a microphone. Strong opinions, unbiased. I've trained myself to be that way. I can like or not like a person and still give an unbiased opinion. I don't think there are a lot of people who can do it. I have plenty of weaknesses, but that's a strength of mine. Dr. John Wong, who did my book with me, co-author Cut to the Chase, he's amazed that I can do that. Amazed. And Doc, if I'm blowing it up, next time you come on, you tell me I'm wrong. Or maybe you hyped it to me too much. Or maybe I'm hyping it too much now. It doesn't make a difference. That's kind of what I am. A lot of people are not. And there's too many people who think if a national person has an opinion against Kentucky, they automatically don't like Kentucky. And by the way, sometimes that's true. And I think that sucks. Any media person who is biased to or against, for or against the school because they like them or don't like them, I really don't like that. Try to be as honest as you can. It's a difficult thing to do. It really is. It's a difficult thing to do. I'm going to repeat what we said for a couple of days because it's worth it. Different people listen at different times. I've been talking about Evan Miyakaya. Evan's great. He did the show the other day. And when he said this, it was interesting how much the portal kids are getting versus last year. That it's up 65%. What's even more amazing to me on his blog, as I mentioned the other day, since March 1st, it was 35%. And it's not like it's doubled, but it's come closer to doubled since that time period. And there's overpaying for big man because why? The newest trend started by Florida is that people want more big men. 3-point shot is not gone, but let's pound the boards. Let's pound the boards. You can win by pounding the boards. So that's really interesting to see how that's going to work out. It really is. To JQ, I saw a list, Jimmy, that some NBA expert, I forgot which list it was, had him going 17th. And I really liked his goodbye thing about, he's always going to be a blue guy, that kind of stuff. I think he's a great kid who really cares. Doctors make mistakes. And there's no question that UK doctors made a mistake. I'm not ripping him for it because everybody makes a mistake. Unless Pope's an idiot, which he is not, unless Pope is an idiot, there's no way he would have wanted this kid to come here if he didn't think he would have played this year. No way. And what does Pope do? Like every coach do. Doesn't matter if Pope was in medical school and close to being a doctor. It shouldn't be his decision. I'm sure it wasn't. You turn to the doctors and you ask them, what do they think? What do they think? And obviously, they thought that he would play this year and being back to himself at some point this past year. They were wrong. Now, could have been they were actually right and he re-injured himself? Sure. And if that's true, and I don't know, am I not being fair to the doctors? Yes. 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 So I'm going to tell you, I don't know. But I've never blamed Pope for that. And Pope's got a lot of heat. He made a decision based upon the information that he had that this kid would be able to play. And I got to tell you, it's pretty simple. If this kid, and I said this before the season started, when people were guessing, and I was wrong. I said, look, if the kid is on the court playing like he normally could by mid-January, I'm saying it's a good thing. Because when you first come on the court, you're not in shape. And I don't give a crap how much time you walk in a swimming pool and all that kind of stuff. It's not the same. Riding a bike, it's not the same. Sprinting on the side, it's not the same. It's just not. It can get you closer, but it's not the same. So if he was playing in mid-January, that gave him plenty of time to be 100% for the NCAA playoffs. Now, the sad part is if he was 100%, let's say by February 1st, do I think they'd have been 10-8? No. Does that mean some of the criticism of Pope could be unfair? Yes. Can you put me in that category? Yes, but you play with what you got. You play with what you got. There are other schools that have injuries. You play with what you got. So I think the criticism that I've given the Pope is legitimate. You might not think so, and that's okay. And that's okay. You can't keep on going 10-8 under any circumstances. You can't. You just can't. This is Kentucky. Either it's Kentucky or it's not. It's pretty simple. And I'm going to say, I don't believe this program should slip. And I will defend this program because of my respect for Kentucky basketball. I might be from New York, but my respect for tradition, my respect for greatness is off the charts no matter where it comes from. It happens. I live in Lexington, Kentucky, which we love, by the way. It's not the point. But the point is I respect Kentucky basketball. And so as it slips, I'm going to defend it. And I'm going to hold people to a higher standard. And first of all, I wouldn't care if Pitino was the coach and they're 10-8 and 10-8. I'd be saying the same thing with more shock because it's Pitino. Make sense? And by the way, I like to do these things. Pitino wanted the job and they wouldn't even talk to him. And by the way, I don't give a blank if Pitino denies it, which he's really good at doing. He did. And I don't give a blank if somebody says, well, he's old. I always remember how old he is because he's a month older than me. He's 73. He might be coaching when he's 80. His energy is unbelievable. Pitino should have been the coach. Kentucky screwed up. Oh, that would be Mitch. Yeah. That would be Mitch. Got a little Jasper Johnson. Jimmy, do me a favor. Nick Roush deleted the Zoom invite. I would normally do this differently. Would you be kind enough to resend it to him? I guess Nick is like me. I deleted it too today, but Nick has an excuse. I do this every day. I would say that's shame on me, Jimmy, don't you think?
Yes.
Oh, that smile. You know why I said this? Jimmy, I'm not hitting on you, but you have a great smile. You really do. I like seeing your smile. Now, if you tell that to your wife, is she going to take that the wrong way?
No, I would hope she would agree with you.
You know what? To hell with me. For your sake, I hope she agrees with you too. I said that just to see you smile because every time I do something wrong, you have this effort. I'm helping you live longer. Seriously. You never look at it that way, do you? The more
I have not looked at it that way.
Well, you see, I'm trying to educate you here, pal. The more you smile, the more the endorphins are good for you, the more it helps you, and the more it helps your life and your innards. So I'm helping you right now.
I appreciate you in my longevity.
I got to get Jasper in. I got 2 minutes to do this. Cal's all over Jasper. He's all over Jasper because he's all over Jasper. And I've said this. This is not breaking news. Jimmy, would you like to know what Cal has told Jasper?
I would.
Would you say that's breaking news?
I would think it is. I have not seen it anywhere.
I don't think you have either. Cal has told Jasper, give me 7 months and I'll get you where you want to go. Obviously, I can't tell you the source. The source is as good as the source who told me that Stokes asked for $9 million. And by the way, just because you ask it doesn't mean you're going to get it. It is negotiations. Okay? And it's not the same source. And you can try figuring it out. All good. One, you got no shot of figuring out. The other, it's a long shot. It's a long shot. I can see Cal putting more emphasis on Jasper than other players because he wants to show Kentucky that he's a better coach and he can take care of kids than you do in Kentucky. And if you don't think that's part of Cal, you don't know John Calipari. Yeah, don't know John Calipari. You might think you do, but I believe I know him better. He's got a fire in his belly now. And I think one of the things while he's still doing what he's doing at the level that he's doing, and he's got Arkansas turned. He absolutely has Arkansas turned. And he's back to doing it his way. He was weakening and said, I got to, use more guys in the portal and stuff like that, away from the high school stuff. That Smith kid coming in. I don't know if you've seen tape of him, Jimmy, but he's a great prospect. And he had, I thought, the best guard in the country, and I thought he's the best player in the country. His guard this year. I saw a list where he was 7, and I thought a list where he was 9 being drafted. Okay. And I get if somebody likes DeSantis better. I get that. I get that. But I always go, if the point guard I think is as good as the forward and advanced is unbelievable, who's going to have the ball in their hands? And the shots he made with people on him. But, you get the pants stuff. I mean, unbelievable. Unbelievable. So Cal has told Jasper Johnson, give me 7 months and I'll get you where you want. And by the way, Jimmy, you've seen enough of Cal stuff since you've been here. You can see him saying that, can't you?
Absolutely. This looks like this is right in Cal's wheelhouse. Doing something like this, he gets Jasper there. He averaged 18 points a game next year. If this does happen, this is right up Cal's alley.
If he goes to Arkansas, I bet he doesn't average 18 points a game because of Smith being there. I would guess around 15, and this is just a guess. They'll probably have 3 guys who can score. And by the way, if he averages 15 and plays a ton and and I can see him having games of 25 points. If he averages 15 points a game and has a hell of a year, would you say that's really good?
Absolutely.
And matter of fact, I hope you're right if he goes there. The intensity, John Rothstein said that Rob Wright is returning to BYU next season. Breaking news. John Rothstein. Is he about as good as it gets?
I'd say he's a credible source.
Yeah. He just put on Twitter that Rob Wright, and I forgot which one of the experts said, I think it was Jeff Goodman, that Kentucky was in the lead when he came here. And I think Travis Branham, these are now 3 people that I respect and are very good sources with getting information. And this ain't fly-by-night people. These are very special, informational people. I believe it's Travis Branham. Travis, if I'm giving you credit that you shouldn't get, I apologize, but I believe it's true. He said when Wright left, Kentucky was no longer in the lead. That's not a good sign for Pope. And I continue to have the same question as you do. Can the man close? But I stand with this. Not because I don't want to be called a jerk later, because I believe this. If when it's all said and done with the roster and he gets swings and misses on 5 big people, but he gets 6 really good people and the team is really good next year, what the hell's the difference? Is there any difference, Jimmy? So are you like me? When you're on Wildcat Drive, do you tell people, ease up, calm down your blood pressure? I think there are Kentucky fans whose blood pressure is up and they're really ticked. Now, I can tell you this. I never expected Stokes, from what I knew, to commit yesterday. And I don't understand how some fans did. You need to listen to my show more. You really do. Or spread information out. Or you just have hopeful, delusional theories, which is okay because you're great Kentucky fans. And I'll tell you what else is also great. Quantrell. Cadillacs, Subarus, Volvos. We've had not one, not two, but 3 vehicles from Quantrell in over a decade. As they love to say, driving should feel personal, protected, centered, completely at ease the moment you pull onto the road. That's the Volvo difference. Thoughtful design, quiet confidence, and safety always working in the background so you can simply breathe and drive. Plus, the luxury of Volvo is often more within reach than expected. And that's the truth with me and us. It was more within reach than I ever thought. That's why Volvo deserves your first look. We have the VC60. It's a hybrid. We're saving a whole bunch of money with the plug-in, and it's the best car we've had in 43 years. I think that's a pretty good endorsement. It's the truth. That's why Volvo deserves your first look at Quantrell Volvo, Brentley and Mark, friends of mine. Dealership that is calm, respectful, and genuinely helpful. Right now, get 1.99. Right now, get 1.99% APR for 36 months on most 2026 models. See dealer for details. Visit QuantrellVolvo.com. Football's Nick Roush. And we might talk a little basketball, but he's a football dude and he knows his football. Nick Roush coming up next. Alan Cutler, 1300 AM, 92.5 FM.
No Filter Radio with Alan Cutler, brought to you by Quantrell Auto Group. QuantrellForLife.com.
Hi, this is Alan Cutler. Have a no filter comment? Hit the text line, 859-381-1313. 859-381-1313.
Hi, this is Patrick DiGiacomo, and this is why I would recommend Republic Bank. So, when the bank manager brought me over just to show me how their ITM works, he hit this button where an actual live person came on the screen, and she was so kind and helpful, and it just made me feel like, wow, I'm not dealing with just a machine, I'm dealing with somebody that's actually paying attention to what I'm doing, and it made me feel really good.
And that's how Republic Bank helps their customers go from living to thriving. Learn more at republicbank.com. Member FDIC.
Driving should feel personal, protected, centered, completely at ease the moment you pull onto the road. That's the Volvo difference. Thoughtful design, quiet confidence, and safety always working in the background so you can simply breathe and drive. Plus, the luxury of Volvo is more within reach than expected. That's why Volvo deserves your first look. At Quantrell Volvo, friends, Brentley and Mark, they have built a dealership that's calm, respectful, and genuinely helpful. Right now, get 1.99% APR for up to 60 months on most 2026 models. See dealer for details. Visit QuantrellVolvo.com today.
ESPN Sports Radio 1300 and 92.5. Back to No Filter Radio with Alan Cutler. Podcasts on Apple, Spotify, and Google, Monday through Friday.
The one, the only, KSR's football expert who got a haircut just to be on YouTube today. My friend, I can't call you a friend, yes?
Yeah, of course we're friends, Alan.
First time I did your show was it my last Derby or second to last Derby? You were over in the corner doing some radio, and you said, would you do my show? I said, sure, because you were a radio stud back in the day, and you'll be one again. I appreciate your time, Nick, tremendously. So what's your take on what's happening? And I'm trying not to get sucked in with a hype, but there's so many things that I can hear and feel that are really good. You know, to me, it's a beautiful thing. I want to play a Stein bite after you comment about what he said about Minchie on a play, and I know you know the soundbite. You've written about the soundbite on KSR and stuff like that, but it's freaking beautiful. It is beautiful with the thought process going what's in this man's mind as a head coach and a quarterback coach in Sloan as well. But overall, your take on the hype. Have you been sucked in? And sucked in is okay. There's nothing wrong with it. Are you dying to see what happens in September? And I am too. I am so excited to see what this football team can do this fall. It's really off the charts. Where are you in the hype versus reality? Because you can't see anything yet, but you hear this word chaos, which is like the prettiest word I've heard in football in forever.
I would say I'm about 6.5, Alan, and that's because I'm a little bit older. Not as old as you, of course. I don't think anybody in media is as old as you, Mr. Cutler.
It didn't take you long to get your first shot in, did it?
Had to get one in there.
You know what? Do you have a rule? Is this a Roush rule that within your first answer of 30 seconds you have to, because you've been doing that. I've been watching this.
Well, I got a quota to hit, cut man. So if I don't, I want to make sure I get it in early, so then we can have a normal conversation. But there is when you are in this business longer, you fall for the hype less quickly. I don't think that's correct grammar, but we're on radio. That doesn't really matter. But, when I first started doing this, it was early in the Stoops era where you saw that early momentum on the recruiting trail. People were getting very excited. But in his case, it did take some time for that to manifest in results. It's not going to take as long for Will Stein because of the state of the college sports world we currently live in. But I still want to let the cake bake a little. But from a just plain speaking observer that is not trying to be the big Kentucky football fan, Will Stein is checking all of the right early boxes with this program. It started with his roster build, really investing in proven offensive line talent. He's got the quarterback who, as you mentioned, has the mind to operate his offense efficiently. For me, it's just the what do the playmakers look like on offense, and then getting to know what this defense is going to look like. I don't really know exactly what to expect, other than the fact that this is a stark change from the previous regime in that Mark Stoops, he created a very high floor team that was risk averse. Will Stein's doing the exact opposite on both sides of the line of scrimmage. They are going to play a risky brand of football that's going to try to create explosive plays on offense, that's going to use tempo, and then defensively, they're going to be aggressive as well. And the part that really jumped out to me recently, Alan, is talking to Tony Washington, who coaches the pass rushers. A lot of times when you're saying, hey, go get the quarterback, there are certain rules you have to follow. For his position room, now it's more of just go tackle the damn guy. And they're taking the shackles off of these guys to an extent that's saying, hey, we might get beat over the top every once in a while, but we're going to go down swinging. We're going to try to create big plays. And you know what the old saying is about playing with fire? They're probably going to get burned on some of this, but you know what? They're probably going to have a couple of really big bonfires that are fun to watch. So I'm excited, although I'm including a little bit of trepidation just because I want to see just how many studs this offense has to feed this fall.
I have a comment at a left field and I know nothing. Okay. Because Bateman is going to be aggressive. I'm using logic here. And I'm wrong. And I think they're going to save this for the appropriate time on a third down. White, I thought, was a hell of a defensive coordinator, but he was very conservative. And what I don't know, was he that conservative because that's what Stoops wanted, or is he more open? And we'll find out a little bit more in Florida this year. So we'll see. And there's not a negative damn word I'm saying about White. I liked him as a person. I liked him as a man. And I think he's a hell of a coach, but that was his style. Hang with me a second. So everybody knows Stein will take gambles. Okay, can I see Cisco Brand's son, Ty, getting at least 3 sacks next year? Yes. I could see him getting 4 or 5. He's fast. He's really smart. His first step is a go. I think there'll be teams that will watch for it. I think they won't use it early on until they play the Alabamas of the world. Here I come, Nick. I will bet you a cup of coffee, and I know nothing, okay, that there'll be some cornerback blitzes as well at the appropriate time when the opposing offense doesn't know. That'll create a sack or two because Stein and Bateman won't be afraid to do those kinds of things. Maybe it's wishful thinking, And if I ask Don now, he's not going to say anything. I get that. You get that, that kind of thing. But my point is, your point is so well taken. They're not afraid to shoot for the stars, knowing, okay, you might have the cornerback go, and maybe the strong safety goes over to carry the wide receiver, and maybe the strong safety is good enough to cover, and maybe not. Maybe they get a big play on you. You can't have everything. You know that. You're a football.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're gambling, but they're gambling aggressive. I'm just saying, just remember this, that there will be a cornerback that will get at least a couple of sacks this year. You remember that? And if I'm wrong, just me pontificating, but I'm trying to look into the eyes and thought process of the coaching staff based upon what I know from afar. Does that make sense?
No, it makes total sense. And, they are trying to surround this scheme with some mystery because we don't know exactly what it will look like. But what I can tell you, just based off, I love the NFL. I listen to NFL podcasts, and I forget how this came up, what exactly the subject matter was. But essentially, the gist of it from this NFL expert was that this player came from Mike Elko's defense, and nobody's better at pre-snap disguise than Mike Elko. And that's what I think you're going to see Jay Bateman bring over is creating confusion for the quarterbacks, right? Like what you see before the snap is not what you're going to get after the snap because there's going to be a lot of moving parts. Now, at this level, when it's new, are there going to be some blown assignments? Yes. But if you create that confusion, even if the cornerback doesn't get there to make the sack, if he's not where the quarterback expects him to be, the quarterback might worry, oh crap, where do I go with the ball? And then make a mistake. And I think that's what this whole defense is sort of predicated upon. It's creating confusion. It's creating chaos. And if you are the one that is generating that, right? Like if you are the one who is antagonizing it, if you will, that is the catalyst of it all, then you have a better a better control of the game. I don't know if it's always going to play out like that, where Kentucky is constantly in control because they've got the other team in a tizzy. But as a play caller, that's essentially what Will Stein said. He's like, I'm what the defense that me as a play caller wants to see the least. I want to make it challenging on the other. If I was calling plays for the offense, I want the defense that's going to be the hardest to go up against, and that's what Kentucky fans should expect to see this fall.
What's your number one worry coming out of camp?
It's the running back position, just the health of it. Now, hearing from C.J. Baxter, he spoke with us a week ago. One of Alan, these interviews, you've done so many of them, hundreds and hundreds, and I mean, that's so. But you know how you get in those scrums, and it's kind of they're all the same to different varying degrees. C.J. Baxter is an impressive human being who's he's been in the spotlight for a long time. He kind of reminds me of not a Willie Cauley-Stein, but you know how when you normally talk to basketball players, you get all these freshmen that come in and they don't say much, but then the older guys who have kind of been through the ringer, been through the spotlight for a long time, can really articulate how they feel, their perspective on the game. And Baxter, he was the number one running back coming out of high school. And he compared his challenges to the book of Job. He's like, sorry, I'm going to get off topic for a little bit, but Job was this guy who had everything taken from him. He was tested by God and he remained faithful. Well, he's like, I felt like I received that sort of test, right? I'm taking Baxter's word for it. I admittedly don't know Job very well. I'm not well versed in my Bible verses, but the way Baxter put it is he believes that ultimately his knee injury has made him better suited to overcome adversity to be at his best this year. With that being said, he's not really practicing this spring. He's doing all the individual drills. They're not running him through contact. And they've got a safety, Martellus Carter, playing running back. So, I know that that is not the focal point of Will Stein, Joe Sloan's Kentucky offense, but you still got to run the ball to an extent. You got to move the chains in short yardage situations. The health and depth of that running back room, I'm a little nervous about, and just can they? I hate to put the onus on injuries, Alan, but you saw what it did to the other team this year, right? Like it can really derail things. So I'm a little worried about the depth of that position.
And you should be worried, and it's a legitimate concern. We played that soundbite with Baxter, and he looks like a thick NFL running back.
Oh yeah,
thick. I mean,
built like a linebacker.
Yeah, he's got neck muscles. Not that running backs don't have neck muscles, but they don't normally have neck muscles like that. And he's wearing, it looks like the super extra large T-shirt, but there ain't no belly hanging out. Hey, actually built like a strong tight end.
Yeah, he's a little on the shorter side. I thought you were going to go back to Artus Penner because there's a little bit of that. Now, Too's had like those enormous thighs. Where Baxter, he's a little bit more top heavy. But, when he is at full speed, he does not move like somebody his size should move.
And by the way, when I say no, you're right. He's not tall because they like tall tight ends. But if you're that good, they'll take you at 6'2", even though they want 6'5" and stuff. So, I agree with you. Actually, the guy with the biggest legs before you were born, there was nobody ever at the history of Kentucky football who had thighs like Mark Higgs. No, under thighs. And it was amazing. He was probably 5'7".
Yeah, if that.
And how he could leap over the line. You know what nobody does anymore? In the old days, you would leap over the line of scrimmage to get the first down. People don't do that anymore. And I don't understand it. Well, guys that can still do it.
Dante Dell tried to do it against Texas, and he did it about 2 yards too short. He jumped way too early. It didn't work. And there was another thing that Baxter said that I think I've said it to you before, Cutler, but Baxter said culture wins games. There's talented players on every football team in the SEC, but when the going gets tough, that culture wins out. And he said that was a culture win for Texas. I think the culture that a lot of these guys are bringing in is that mindset that it took Mark Stoops a lot of time to build, and I think it eroded quickly. That no matter what, whatever happens, we're going to find a way to win. Go back to 2018. Kentucky had that mindset at Missouri. They hadn't gotten past the 40-yard line all day. They're down 14-3. When Bowden gets a punt return touchdown in the final 5 minutes, they end up winning that game. They had no business winning that game, but the culture was strong. That culture just eroded during that 2022 season, and whenever things got tight, doubt creeped in. They've brought in a bunch of winners from winning programs that know what it takes to win and play in the college football playoffs. From the offensive line to the running back, C.J. Baxter, there's just a couple of guys on the offensive line that have been in college football playoff games. There's all over the roster, including the quarterback, Kenny Minchie. He did not play in Notre Dame's national championship game, but he was there for the entire journey. He knows what it takes to win, to be a winner. He knows how to lead, and I'm incredibly excited to see him cut loose.
You believe Nick Roush, football guru for KSR, then in a very short time period that Will Stein has built a wonderful culture in a short time period. Yes or no?
Yes, particularly because I think there was a shell of that still left from the previous regime. I mean, to go back to that Texas game, Kentucky had talent on its roster. Now, was it always in the right place? No. Did they always execute correctly? No. But the energy that this coaching staff is bringing it's forced everybody to buy in quickly to their vision. They see the scheme that's on the table. It's been tough, I think, at times for some of them to sort of push through and feel comfortable in it. But I believe it's there, and I particularly because I believe they do have the right guy at quarterback.
What do you think of getting the number 2 prospect quarterback-wise in Lexington? I'm not a genius, but I've said this forever. If Tim Couch was the quarterback last year, Mark Stoops would still be the coach. Quarterback just uplifts everybody. It just is what it is. The game is not going to change. There was an analogy at one point that I believed in, and then I quickly went poo-poo. That's not smart. quarterbacks do get too much credit when you win and too much heat when you lose. Sometimes that's absolutely true. But, a special quarterback has everybody playing harder. A special quarterback uplifts the talent. A special quarterback oftentimes can take a kid who's on the fence between one school and another school saying, I want to be on a team with this guy. And if this becomes quarterback you, which would be incredulous and beautiful, if this becomes quarterback you, I believe, and I'm really careful, Nick Roush, I really don't want to follow the hype. I'm too old to follow the hype. I want to follow what I think, not hype, pro or con, by the way. If this become quarterback you, I honestly believe, even with a 9-game schedule, because everybody's going to have to play 9 games, which means other teams going to lose more games than they used to lose. Okay, it's going to be everybody.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be one team that'll be special, that'll be undefeated. The days of undefeated teams in the conference are going to be much less. It just is, because it's 9 games and the beating up, and you know all that. But if this becomes quarterback you, I am telling you right now, if this becomes quarterback you, the University of Kentucky football program will elevate over a long time period to be higher than Mark Stoops ever did at Kentucky over a long time period. I think he's going to pass Mark Stoops. I think he's going to pass Rich Brooks, who I have a ton of respect for. He has a shot of becoming the best coach here since Paul Bear Bryant.
Yes, he may not have the same records because he might be so good that he goes elsewhere. And you know what? If he does, then thank you, Will Stein. You have left us in a much better place. The reason why you are correct, Alan, and yes, this is me not taking a shot at you. This is me giving you credit. See, the sword cuts both ways.
Did you go out in the sun without, some suntan lotion to cover your bald head? I'm really worried about you. When you get nice to me, I'm very uncomfortable in the workplace.
You think the brain might be a little fried? No. The issue is that Mark Stoops, he did things the hard way. He never had the quarterback, and they hit a hard ceiling. Now, Kentucky was a pick 6 against Tennessee away from going to that Sugar Bowl, which would be a college football playoff team back in 2021, and an egg at Neyland Stadium in 2018 from another one of those seasons. So he was awfully close. But to your point, quarterbacks lift everybody up. They are the difference makers in this sport. They raise your ceiling. They just do. There's just no other way around it. And the other thing about the quarterback position at this level, it's unlike, I guess it's a fair comparison to the NFL where they're always trying to draft the right guy. And, the Bengals did it for however many years trying to get that number 1 quarterback. They never did. But you know what? They got Joe Burrow and they took him to a Super Bowl within a couple of years. It's kind of an odds game, a game of chance when you're dealing with high school quarterbacks. And then once they get there, they move around a lot. So you need to get a good one every single year because not every one of these guys is going to live up to their lofty recruiting rankings. They just aren't. So you need to stack them up, and that's what Stein's doing. He had already recruited Matt Ponatoski at Oregon. Ultimately, the baseball deal helped Stoops get him signed at Kentucky. All right, he's got one. And Ponatoski might be awesome. And if he's not, well, Jake Narot's right there. Jake Narot might just be better than him. He's the number 2 quarterback currently in this 2027 recruiting class. And here's the other part too, Alan. This guy just started playing tackle football in 8th grade. He was a baseball pitcher and a basketball player first. He goes out for football. And the part that I like most about this kid, and really the last 2, I think between Ponatoski and Narot, Ponatoski had 2 years. He threw 4 interceptions in 2 years. Narot threw 1 last year. They're making the right decisions. They know how offenses are supposed to work against these defenses. They're putting the ball in the right spot. And the way that Charles Power of Rivals described it, he's the top analyst, evaluator of talent for Rivals. He said that Narot made the most challenging throws of any quarterback in his class. He's not afraid to go for it, and when he does, it usually works. That's a great sign for the future. He's built like it, and it just not only is it great for what you can do on the field, but to your point, it signals that these guys aren't just going to get top quarterbacks to come to campus. They can close on them, and then that can attract more talented players to come play with him in Lexington, which, hey, by the time this weekend gets here, there might be a couple more 4-stars that are ready to commit to the Cats.
It sounds like Mark Pope needs Will Stein to close for him.
Do we want to get into those waters? Maybe there's just some bad Mark Juju going around right now. Mark Stoops, Mark Pope,
Rob Wright is going back to BYU.
Yeah. That's not ideal.
Anybody who thought, now people can change their mind, but probability that Stokes was going to commit yesterday is just delusional.
Yeah.
It's delusional. Now, and I went through this in the monologue, but Jeff Goodman said that Wright was Kentucky's unless they blew it. And then after he left, I think it was Travis Branham. These are all really good media people who they have sources, and I trust these people. They're both really, really good. There's nobody better in basketball with sources than Jeff Goodman with his field of 68. And when Jeff Goodman said that, this was Kentucky's kid if they just finished the deal, and then Travis Branham said when he left it wasn't, Jeff Goodman is saying today that he thinks that Kentucky not having a general manager, they weren't prepared and it hurt him. And by not having a general manager, that's Mark Pope's fault. It is his program, and it's absolutely unequivocally his fault.
The most enlightening part of the Will Stein experience has been front office management, because he comes from a place that has their ducks in a row at Oregon. Just like and it's hard for me, it's difficult for me to articulate in a succinct manner just how it works. But you really do need to have a staff that is just focused on that, because how you do anything is how you do everything. You have to have everything in line, and you also have to convey a certain level of professionalism. I think the most telling part of just the front office experience between this regime and the last is that the last one was willing to just if they were trying to negotiate, Stoops and his group would just say, okay, we'll pay you more. Well, no, Stein has Pat Biondo, Pete Nocta, all of those guys, they have valuations for all of these players. And if they get caught in these sort of bidding wars, they have a hard line. They're sticking to it. I can't imagine going through this process without somebody to lean on, because if you're the coach, it's two different jobs, Alan. But you see at the professional ranks, the coach can have this is the kind of guy I want, but the general manager is ultimately who gets it done or not. So I don't understand the resistance to having a front office, because I can't imagine doing it. I know it's a lower volume in basketball, Alan, but in football, it would be impossible to do it without a front office.
It might be lower volume, but here's where I'll disagree. There's only so many hours a day, and you're working a gazillion hours, whether you're a football coach or a basketball coach. So that part I don't agree. It's just more numbers and more contracts. Obviously, in football, tons more contracts and stuff like that. And whatever the system is in football, they're getting players.
Yeah, it's working for them.
I have no idea how it's working. All I know is here's the proof. The proof is they're bringing people in. Okay, Last one. You're a smart guy, Nick Rouse, and you're going to give me an honest answer. I believe you. Oh, you're looking suspiciously at me. When Mitch Barnhart, in his press conference, when Stein was introduced, when he scolded the media and handled it about as badly as he could. And by the way, I wasn't upset because I don't give a rat's. I give a rat's, but I felt sorry for Mitch for not even knowing how to handle himself after decades of being an athletics director. Really, a rookie athletics director shouldn't have said some of the things he said. So I've actually felt bad for him. Me, you want to scold me? I don't give a crap. Who the hell are you? And you're not going to shake my confidence. You got to be kidding me. I think you know me a little bit. That ain't going to happen. Point is this. Mitch made the comments, we don't have to cheat. Everybody's cheating. It's simple math. You got $22 million for the whole school. 2 and 2.5, whatever the hell it is, goes for scholarships. You got about $18 million left. Okay, it's divided up how any school wants to have it divided. Volleyball's getting some money too, and they should. Women's basketball is getting some money, and they should. Okay, football and basketball are going to get the most. There is not enough money in the basketball portion, even if they give more to basketball, which I don't know if they do or don't. There isn't enough money to pay for all these kids. There just isn't enough money. Cheating is rampant everywhere. It's disingenuous, I think, for these ADs to say we don't cheat. It's BS. And please don't anybody try to tell me that a JMI group, and I'm not being negative to them, can come up with enough money to guarantee a kid $4 or $5 million. They're not going to go in the hole. They're not going to guarantee it. It's a business. They're not going to do that. The school's not going to do it. Here's the long answer to the quick question. You believe that all these schools are, and by the way, it doesn't bother me, but they're cheating. What bothers me is ADs like Mitch Barnhart says we don't have to cheat. It's just BS. Do you agree or not agree?
I think the part that I might disagree on, because like the how we think of cheat, like I think Kentucky has the money. Like that's the part for me that I don't like. I don't think any of what's happening with the basketball program has anything to do with the amount of money. I just don't. I
agree with that.
Yeah.
No. That's not
Yeah.
that's not right. You're getting sidelined really quick. And
okay.
If you agree or disagree, it's you. It's not that I care that extra money's coming in. I don't give a rat's. More power to what these kids get. But to say that UK doesn't cheat, if somebody's writing a check for $15 million to help out a program, and maybe even more, I'm not going to get specific from what I actually do know, okay? That's outside sources. That's the issue. It's pretty simple. It's pretty simple. I don't care about it. And I think it's great there are rich people that can give money to the program. There's not a negative bone in my body. But when an AD says we don't have to cheat, do you think I'm that stupid? Really?
Well, I'm more, it can be cheating if there aren't rules being enforced by anyone. You know? Like that. Yeah. Like it's like there's
nothing in the bylaws that said an outside source can give a kid $1 million. You can't do that. I'm sorry, Nick. You can't do that. You go last, and I didn't realize how late I am. I got to go, and you got your shot in, but give your answer.
No, I think that just Mitch Barnhart generally doesn't know how to do the Mark Stoops approach of just gritting your teeth and giving out the. And he got sick of just gritting his teeth, and he spouted off. He shouldn't have done it. And you know what? You gotta do whatever you can to get the best team possible. Whatever it takes, right? You're judged on wins and losses, whatever it takes.
Yeah, I agree with that. But you agree with me. For some reason, you don't want to, and that's okay. I still think you're great. You know what? Here's the deal, Nick. You have a quota on busting my chops. I'm good. Mm-hmm. Especially if you're funny. I like funny whether you're ripping me or not. And the second thing is in your quota, you can't agree with me that many times. So you had your guard went up and said, you know what, I probably would have agreed with Cutler a half hour ago, but now I've agreed with him enough. I'm
too much. Yeah.
Hey, bless you, brother. Give yourself a great plug.
Find me at Roush KSR. We're on the KSR YouTube channel. There's plenty of places you can check me out. Come see me in the infield during Derby. We'll be having ourselves a hell of a time. So
yeah.
First turn.
I don't go to Derby anymore. They were nice enough to say I can go to the Derby anytime I want. Because I was live for years for, was it?
You did the work that I never want to do, the all-day broadcasts on NBC.
That's easy. That's actually, because all I have to do is talk, unless it was cold and snowing and stuff like that. It was the 3 weeks leading up to that, scrambling like a you-know-what that I love doing, putting the stories together. Stories were done. All I had to do was talk. Are you kidding me? If people would say that, boy, that Derby day is tough. No, the 3 weeks before when I'm running around like an idiot and finding stories that, some of them nobody else found that I love doing. That's work.
Running around like an idiot and just talking. That's the Alan Cutler way.
That's a beautiful thing. Bless you, brother.
Take care, Alan.
You know what? Darn it, Jimmy, he got the last shot in at the end. Look at his smile. His smile is like your smile. You are grinning because, yeah, good. Thank you. Hang up on him. And now you're smiling. I want to end this Zoom call. Man, we're late for Hal McCoy. Hal, I apologize. Blue Lotus Health. I'm not apologizing for them because they're great. Blue Lotus Health, 859-533-0914. 859-533-0914. Acupuncture. Now also providing a licensed massage therapist, Ramon Carriega, dear friend. He's brilliant. He really is. And what he can do to help you, it's off the charts. And I'm so lucky to have found him and Terry Page. I am the lucky one. Check them out. Use my name. Offer Sales Road, close to the radio station, Blue Lotus Health, 859-533-0914. Hal McCoy, the Hall of Famer, coming up next. Alan Cutler, 1300 AM, 92.5 FM.
No Filter Radio with Alan Cutler, brought to you by Quantrell Auto Group. QuantrellForLife.com.
Hi, this is Alan Cutler. Have a no filter comment? Hit the text line, 859-381-1313. 859-381-1313. Ready to feel the surge? Good, because Cadillac didn't come to play. At Quantrell Cadillac,
A live person came on the screen, and she was so kind and helpful, and it just made me feel like, wow, I'm not dealing with just a machine. I'm dealing with somebody that's actually paying attention to what I'm doing, and it made me feel really good.
And that's how Republic Bank helps their customers go from living to thriving. Learn more at republicbank.com. Member FDIC.
W223CV Lexington.
ESPN Sports Radio 1392.5. WLXG Lexington, an LM Communications broadcasting station. The only no-filter sports show in Kentucky. It's the Alan Cutler Show with award-winning TV sportscaster Alan Cutler.
We're talking baseball. Klazuski, Campanella talking baseball. The man and Bobby Fella, the Scooter, the barber, and the...
I got to tell you, if hearing that song doesn't make you smile, you don't love baseball. I hear that song and I smile and I think of my friend, Hal McCoy, in the Baseball Hall of Fame. Hello, Hal. How are you, friend?
I'm doing great, Alan, and you're right. Beautiful day for baseball, but it's always a beautiful day for baseball.
Even when it's 40 degrees and it's cold and there's snow in the air?
Hey, I'm in the press box all bundled up. No problem. Go play, guys.
By the way, Blade just got another double. This afternoon. And I was going to play a home run he hit. It was like over 400 feet. Explain to me why he hasn't been called up in front of Hines, and they just quit on a couple of these outfielders. Benson's been there forever. It's time to try somebody else. You know what? I really like Friedel, but it's time to try somebody else. They've got other pieces to try. I'm baffled at their stubborn. And by the way, I can't swear to you these other two kids are going to do it. And I want to talk to you about Hines in a second. I want to play a soundbite for you, which I thought was beautiful. But at a certain point, it's not like these guys have guaranteed jobs. Okay, I mean, send them to the minor leagues. Let's see what Hines can do. Let's see what Blade can do. I mean, this is nuts, Al. This is nuts, and they are 10-7.
Yep, I agree wholeheartedly. They finally called Hines up. He went 0 for 3 and struck out twice in his first game, but nerves were probably jangling in his arms. I think Blade is going to be next, and probably very soon. I mean, the way this Reds offense is it's very offensive in the bad part, and they need help. They need help desperately. I mean, they're in first place, and I just hope their mirrors don't break, because it's a wonder that they're there with the way that they don't hit up and down the lineup. Only rookie Stewart and Ellie's starting to hit a little bit. So, but the rest is just a vast wasteland. And I'm with you. Benson has shown nothing. A good defensive player, a great guy, but he just does not hit. Give Blade a chance.
And here's my thing. This is a real pet peeve. Francona does all these wonderful things. With Rhys Hines, give him 100 at-bats. Don't play him twice a week. Just give him 100 bats. And if he's no good, then you got to send him back down. He's got to relax. I agree with you. He was nervous. There's no question about it. If you let him calm down, you might have a really good player. I don't have the answer. He says he's adjusted his swing. He said he's grown up. He said he's worked on his game. And if he can hit in the major leagues like the minors, there's a big difference. You have a guy that he could be gone in 3 weeks, and probably not get another chance after all these chances, or you have a guy that might be your right fielder for 7 years.
Absolutely. We saw what he could do the first week he was called up last year. I mean, he was unbelievable. He was like Saul Stewart. He gets it together. I agree. He's an athlete. You can see that he does have all the tools, and just relax. And as you say, Tito, go to him and say, "You're my right fielder. I don't care how you do. Just play your best. Go out there and give me what you got." And let him see if he develops. And I think he will.
I hope so. By the way, Jimmy, give me a thumbs up when you have that Reese Hines soundbite queued up. And this, Hal, is not a little thing. It's a big thing. People can continue to grow and develop well after they get to the major leagues. You know that. People can work on their games. Everybody says they work on games, but you've seen this a million times. Some do. Some are full of crap. Some don't. Okay? So he was not known as a good defensive player. But this is what he did at the offseason in Kennesaw State. I don't know if you've heard this, knowing you, I'm sure you have. This, to me, was powerful. Reese Hines saying what he did in the offseason.
For sure, I think it's a different Reese. I think these past couple of years, I think I just proved him, not proven to anyone else. I've always tried to prove to someone else that I'm this guy, I'm this player, and I think the past couple of years, I just proved to myself that I'm an all-around player and I can do every phase of the game. I told Tito and Brad in like the first meeting that we had, I was like, my main goal is to show you guys that I'm an elite defender out in the outfield. And I put that work in the off season. I was countless days up at KSU in Atlanta, just catching fly balls from their guys hitting BP, and just working on my footwork.
I love that, because when he was a defensive player.
I did hear about that, and good for him. I mean, when you know your shortcomings and you're willing to work hard on it and get better at it, that shows what kind of player he is. And I hope it's worked. We haven't got to see him make any plays in the outfield, but that'll come, and hopefully he's able to do it. And with the hard work he's put in, I'm confident that he'll do it.
He relaxes at the plate. He's a big man too. He's 6'3" and 215, and he looks like he's ripped. And
he's solid.
Yeah, I love his potential. In other words, I'm not putting the guy in the Hall of Fame, and I'm not saying he's even going to be an everyday player forever. But he's earned the right to get 100 at bats, and if he can I think he can play 25 home runs plus.
No doubt about it. That's the key. It's really tough on a young player to play once or twice a week, or just be a pinch hitter and be told to produce. I mean, that sort of thing is for a guy like Nathaniel Lowe, a veteran, who can adjust to that. But a young player, if he has the talent, which Reese Hines has, you got to play him every day. You got to give him the opportunity. I mean, look at Key Brian Hayes. I mean, he's in there because of his glove, but when the Reds traded for him, they forgot to tell him to bring his bats with him. But when you have a Gold Glove third baseman like that, that's great. But when your offense is struggling, you need some offense, and they're letting him play. So why not let Reese Hines play?
So here's my take on the Reds. They're winning in odd ways. Their bats, most of them are sawdust, okay? They're starting pitching, although this last series, it was 10.32, I think you pointed out, was awful, but
yes,
really good. And overall, the starting pitching has been very good. Singer was great last night, and he said they tweaked some things in his bullpen session to get a little more velocity and stuff like that. He was great. Here's the point. They're winning in weird ways, but any way you win, you win, okay? They were the last team to get an era this year in the major leagues. Okay, they're 10-7. Shocking. I knew Pittsburgh would be better. I did not know they'd be 10-7, but they actually spent some money this offseason, and who's ever drafting their players, they're getting some good players since they get the draft so early. The point is this. The Reds right now are on pace to win 90 games and lose 63, but that's only 153 games. There's 9 more games left that I'm not accounting to on purpose, by the way. The other thing, too, was easy math to do. So, they're going to win if at this pace with 9 more games, you would think at least 5. They're on pace for 95 wins. I'm not saying they're going to win 95, but people who are saying they're off to a bad start, I think it's stupid, Now, they might not keep this pace. They might even get better than this pace. But if you're 10-7 with a 588 percentage, that's a playoff team. That's absolutely a playoff team and more wins than last year. So you would hope that their bats sort of wake up. But if they can play defense and the back end of the bullpen, what I call the losing part of the bullpen, can do a better job, this is a playoff team.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. They're 8-0 in games of 2 runs decided by 2 runs or less. That's something they were awful at last year. But the starting pitching is going to be good all year. I think that one time through the rotation when they were 10.32 ERA, that was an outlier. Those guys have good arms, and they're going to be solid all year. Got to pick up the offense. There's no way that they can be this bad for the entire season. I think they will pick it up. And in the meantime, there they are in first place. And I think I told you before the season started I would be worried a little bit about the Pirates. They're out to get it, and they went out and got things done, and they're showing that they're going to be a force.
You did say it, and I also thought it would be better, but I didn't think they would be tied for first place with the Reds at 10-7. And by the way, that 8-0 in games decided by 2 runs or less and have won 4 by 1 run, that was Hal's stat in his column that I keep on saying, if you don't read Hal's column on Facebook and you like baseball, especially the Reds, I can't help you. They sucked at 1-run games. They sucked. As a matter of fact, outside the overall record is obviously the number one thing. But of everything besides the overall record, that was the worst thing they did. So what Tito has done that I give him credit for, there's no doubt in my mind he has changed the culture, and these guys have confidence. They didn't have this confidence under Bell. They didn't have this confidence when he showed up. To be 8-0 of games decided by 2 runs or less, if you would have told me, now this could fall apart. We all know that. It might continue. I don't know. But if you would have told me they'd been 8-0 in games decided by 2 runs or less, I actually thought they'd be better than 10-7. That's not the point. This is an unbelievable turnaround. And so far, I have not seen a better stat in baseball.
That is what gives me confidence about this team, because being 8-0 in games so 2 runs or less got to give them confidence, and they're playing with confidence. They know they're never out of games, and they're always close. And last year when they were behind late or just had a 1 or 2 run lead, they blew it. Now they have confidence, and you can see it. Even when they're behind, they're grinding it out in the 8th and 9th inning, and I agree with you. That comes from Tito Francona.
Now, Ashcraft, Santillan, and Pagan, last 3 innings, I think they're underrated in all of baseball. I don't know who the best is, but they have to be, in my mind, for the 7th, 8th, and 9th, the most underrated on the winning side of the bullpen. And I think they're one of the better winning sides of the bullpen in baseball. How high up would you put them? Because, they're holding on to a 1-run lead. And when I saw they're holding on to a 1-run lead last night, I'm going, you know what? I think they can do it. If this were 2 years ago, you know what my thought would be? How are they going to blow it?
Yep, one of them's going to blow it. You know what they remind me of? And I may be way off base here, but they remind me of the Nasty Boys.
Oh, I thought you were going to say that. Be careful, Hal. Whoa. Whoa.
They remind me of the Nasty Boys. They go to the mound with confidence. You say, here, see if you can hit this. The only one that kind of worries me a bit was Emilio Pagan, but in his last 2 or 3 outings, he's looked pretty good. Last night, he threw 7 pitches, 6 for strikes, and 1, 2, 3 inning game over. So, they do remind me of the Nasty Boys, although the Nasty Boys were interchangeable, and Tito has these guys slotted. Ashcraft 7th, Santillan 8th, Pagan 9th. And that's great. They've been a terrific trio.
And the Nasty Boys were crazier. You're really going there.
Yeah.
You know what? Oh, and I'm thinking before you went there, he's not going to go there. He's not going to go there. And then before you said it, oh my gosh, he's going to go there. We will agree with this. The Nasty Boys were about 1,000 times crazier, correct?
Oh, absolutely. Of course, we don't know about these guys. They haven't been around long enough. No, Ashcraft is a little bit different, and Santillan is a gruff, tough guy that doesn't smile, and I don't see anything different about Pagan. But if these guys keep doing it all year, they're going to get recognized. And like you say, they're very underrated right now. But when the game is tied or 1-run lead or 2-run lead, it's bang, bang, bang. Those three guys come in and they've been getting the job done.
This is one of my pet peeves. I've talked to you about this before. They took Ashcraft out of the starting rotation and put him in the bullpen. I really wish that they would consider doing that with other pitchers that are doing a really good job in AAA, but there's no room for them, and stick them in the bullpen, even on the losing side of the bullpen, because if your losing side of the bullpen becomes really good, you can win another 10 games. It can help you out, and they're hesitant to do it, but at least they did it with Ashcraft, which I thought was brilliant.
Right.
I was calling for it before they did it. What about Petty? I know he's killing it in AAA, but wouldn't you like to have him come in and pitch every other day? That would make the bullpen so much better. It's not even funny. How the hell is he? They've had all these injuries and they still don't need him. And he's tearing AAA. Bring the young man.
I know.
And you know what? You can pitch him on the winning side. Suppose this was today and you've pitched your 3 pitchers on the winning side yesterday. He could pitch 3 innings. Not even as the side, just as a winning side of the bullpen, and he rests everybody. I think the rest of your bullpen and how you handle the bullpen, to me, is the most underrated part of deciding a pennant, especially if it's close, because this guys get tired and then they take the ball when they're tired and they get lit up sometimes because they're tired. And if you have another guy from the winning side that can go 2 and 3 innings, like Goose Gossage did when he had to, and this guy is tearing it up in AAA, bring his fanny up here now. I can find 1 or 2 guys on the losing side of the bullpen to say, hey, you got an option, we'll send you back to Louisville. I know it's different. I know it's unique, but that's who I am.
Well, I could not agree with you more. And the fact is, talking about Ashcraft, Santillan, and Pagan, when you use them a couple of times, they can't go back out there again. So you have to rely on what you call the losing side of the bullpen, and I agree with you. Pierce Johnson is the only one that I really trust of the guys that are left after those top 3 that we're talking about. So, a guy like Chase Petty, Connor Phillips has great stuff. I hold my breath every time he comes in because he's going to walk guys. And being a relief pitcher, that's the last thing you want to do is start putting guys on base with walks.
I have a theory with Connor Phillips, and I could be wrong easily. I think the more he pitches out of the bullpen, he'll calm down. When I have seen him, he looks like he's so juiced up, and maybe he's a juiced up guy. I just think maybe another 10 or 15 appearances, that might calm down a little. Might not, but sometimes it's just like Hines. He struck out twice last night. He brought a toothpick to the team. He'll love his potential, and I just think Phillips needs to do it more. I could be wrong.
Yeah, he is a hyperactive guy, even on and off the field, they tell me. So we will see if he can calm down because, as you say, if he walks a batter or gets behind in the batter, you can see him tense up and he tries to overthrow. He's got the great stuff. He doesn't have to do that, but it's natural for a young pitcher to want to do that. You get in trouble, okay, I'll just throw harder. Greg Maddux always said when he got in trouble, he threw softer.
Which is brilliant, and I'm surprised others haven't copied because he's like the best, literally, in the last 50 years, making the Hall of Fame with not having a fastball.
Yep, absolutely. When Greg Maddux retired, he bought a dog, and he still hasn't walked him yet.
I knew something was coming out of that.
Isn't that a great line?
Great line, and I thought I've heard I hadn't heard that one, or if it's been in one of your columns, I didn't remember. It's probably been in one of your columns. Terrence,
it's going to be in my next one.
Oh, so I'm the fresh meat you're trying it on. It works, so
yes, I tried it on you first.
Hey, Hal, you use me as your experiment person all the time. I'm honored to be this. Besides, it's a really good line. Let me ask you this question. Terrence Greer is a friend of the show. He does things like, I can't think of a name, and it's unbelievable how quickly he'll come up with a name. He did that earlier this week on a quarterback who was a great high school quarterback, came here, transferred out. I couldn't think of his name, and he's hitting me right away. Okay, so he asked this question, and you want to know something? I wish I asked you this, so I got to give Terrence Greer credit. He says, if you see this before the segment is over, ask Hal how short of a leash that Chris It's Valeka. Isn't that how you pronounce him? The former infielder?
Yeah, Valeka.
Valeka. I've never been comfortable saying his name right. I don't know why. Has with the so awful. With Tito bringing a new hitting coach in the middle of the season, maybe somebody like Eric Davis. It's a great question. What do you think?
I don't think Tito's pretty loyal to his guys, and I don't think that he would do that in the middle of the season. I can see it happening if things don't come around, being replaced after the season, but I would be very, very surprised. And Eric Davis would be a great name. All the minor league players. I attended a Dayton Dragons media luncheon the other day, and about 6 different players commented about how much they respect and listen to Eric Davis because he knows what he's done it, and he knows what he's talking about. I mean, Chris Valeka was just an ordinary major league player. He didn't even last very long, but I think a guy like Eric Davis, who I love and is one of my best friends, would be a great hitting coach. But I don't see Tito doing that.
Plus, the other thing about Davis, not only is he really smart, he's a kind, caring man. You know this better than me. And he's got a soft-spoken approach that he can tell you what you're doing wrong, and you come out energized saying thank you versus like, oh, he's telling me what to do. Explain this to me. And I've thought about this for years, and I'm sorry I've never asked you before. Why the hell is he not a coach on the Reds now? I look at Eric Davis. You tell me I'm wrong. He's such a calm, smart baseball man. I always thought he'd make a hell of a manager.
I do too. I agree, but I'm prejudiced because I love the guy, and he's probably my all-time favorite. He and Jose Rio are my 2 all-time favorite Reds. But I think the Reds know how valuable he is as a roving instructor in the minor leagues, and how he teaches these kids. And but as far as being a manager, I think he would be great because I know. When he played for the Reds, he was a leader in the clubhouse, and everybody respected him, and everybody gathered around him. Everybody listened to him. He was free with his advice when asked, and he was a great ball player. Just too bad that he was injured so much, or he'd be in the Hall of Fame right now, no doubt.
If he wasn't injured, he'd be one of those rare guys that was first ballot. I really mean that.
Yeah, I do too. He was a 5-tool player. I mean, there's a guy who could hit 40 home runs and steal 80 bases, and he did both.
Still don't understand if the Reds didn't hire him, why somebody else hasn't hired him on the trajectory of being a man. I'm just, it baffles me. There aren't a lot of people, superstars, that can explain what they did. You know this better than me. There are some superstars who just did it, but they can't explain it. He can do that. He can calmly give you tips. He's a great people person. He's got a great disposition. He's kind of like an old soul. I mean, sometimes when some of these things are so obvious, I'm going, what the hell are they thinking?
Well, the trend is nowadays is analytics, and they get managers who take to the analytics. And I don't see Eric Davis as being a guy who would rely a lot on analytics. He would rely more on the seat of his pants and what he sees and what he knows about the game, and that would be more than enough.
Last one. How is Tito with analytics versus the way a lot of these teams are? He's old school. He does a lot of things by feel. I respect it tremendously. I don't know the percentage of what the Reds shove on him. I'm sorry for saying shove on him. I did it on purpose, Al. That you want to do something, or do they say, well, we have one of the great managers who's going in the Hall of Fame. We will adjust our style to him, but we're still going to show him, and I'm sure they do, the analytics and let him make the decision. And if he is honestly making the decisions, then he's one of the rare ones, yes or no. I'm going to shut up, and I really look forward to your answer.
No, you have it perfectly pegged. They shove him with, and I'll use the word shove too, and stick it to him with piles of analytics, but they don't say you have to use these. I'm sure he peruses them, and if he notices something that might work, he'll use it, but he goes by the seat of his pants. He's old school all the way, and I love him for it.
You think he reads all that stuff they give him?
Probably not. Probably throws half of it in the trash.
Look, I look at we're sort of like it's scary, Hal. I look at little post game stuff. When he does something after the game,
Right.
this and that kind of thing. It's look at it all the time and all that kind of good stuff. And he's not. I don't deem him as being a neat freak. I remember when they went down to visit him to offer him the job. He was talking about he's got all the money in the world. One of the pegs in his couch was broken. He said, "I got to get around to getting it fixed." He's not a guy that's a neat freak. I'm not calling him a slob, by the way, but who takes care of things with attention. Tell me if I'm right or wrong, and then I want to do the next one. Then I want you to answer. Do I have him?
Yeah.
And he's got all.
Yeah.
And he loves free
That's
t-shirts.
his personality.
Yeah.
That's his personality. Yep.
So the reason
he doesn't care about looks, he doesn't care about what you think of him. He's going to be his own man, and that's the way he's always been.
And that's why players love him. Okay, here's my thing. Sorry for stepping on you, Hal. My thing is, if he was really into the analytics, I've seen not everyone, but just about every post game that's online, because it's my job, and partly I really like it. But the point is, you never see those stacks of papers on his desk. And it's not like his desk is totally clean all the time. You always see a cup of coffee and something else.
Yeah.
You don't see it. And I don't think he's throwing it in the drawer so the media doesn't see the top of pages.
Yeah, you know what else? I watch all those too when I'm not there, and he never refers to anything analytical. It's always something baseball on the field related, or how he felt about something. It's never the stats say this or the stats say that, and the analytics say this. Never. I've never heard him say that.
Now that you bring that up, I hadn't thought about it, but you're right. You know what he is? And Cal, I promise you, I say this with loving kindness. You know what he is?
What is he?
He's a dinosaur.
Yo, no doubt about it. He'll tell you that too. He'll tell you that too. I loved it last night when he said something about the way Stewart swings at the high pitches, and he says, I'm a guy who doesn't. I'm not supposed to talk about the way he swings because it's all about swinging up now to hit the long ball. Well, he tomahawks the ball. That ball that he hit for a home run was like shoulder high, and Tito said, that's not the way that we're supposed to do things these days. But I love it.
I saw that comment. I didn't put it on my list, but I loved it too. As if the way, not everything new is the best way. He can hit it out because he's a hell of a hitter and he's strong. He doesn't need to uppercut.
Right. Exactly. Level swing. He'll get doubles and triples in addition to home runs with that kind of swing.
Stewart is unbelievable. And you were the first in my world to say it. Rookie of the year. Rookie of the year.
Yes.
And you say he was going to be an all-star?
Yes.
Oh, you beat me on that too. All good. All good.
All good.
Hey, God bless you, Hal. This is a joy. Just a joy. Just a joy. Talking baseball with you, it's just like, it's my favorite part of the week. It really is.
Well, I'm honored that you say that, and I enjoy talking baseball with you too. It's we're on the same page on about everything, so I'm probably pretty boring to agree with everything you say, but we talk sense about baseball in my mind.
And if you want to disagree, you disagree, but I worry about you because we agree too much.
I know, I worry about you too.
Amen. Read his columns on Facebook, folks. If you don't love baseball. You just don't. Thank you, Hal. God bless you.
God bless you too, my friend. Take care.
You too. Hal McCoy. Jimmy, he's the best. The best, the best, the best, the best, the best.
When it comes to baseball, and I feel like I say it every time he's on, it does not get better than Hal McCoy.
We just talked for like 30 minutes plus. You know what it seemed like? 10 minutes?
Yeah. 15
minutes. And I'm looking forward to talking to Cameron Drummond coming up next. But if Cameron wasn't scheduled, I could have talked another 20 minutes with him. Really good. Really good. Really special. Bless you, Hal. Bless you. And I'll tell you what, bless Terry Page. She's been a dear friend, and she's a healer, and she's helped me. And I've told her. I've told her thank you, and I've told her blessing. Seriously, that's how much she has helped my body, my old banged up body, to keep on moving and stuff like that. She's a spectacular licensed massage therapist in Lexington Thursday and Friday, in Butler, Kentucky Monday and Tuesday. Please use my name. I keep on saying it. You think I'm doing it for hype. I'm sorry. I can't help you. It's not. It's reality. She should never have an open appointment. She is that good and that special. 820 Porter Place. Check her out. Use my name. Call her. Text her. Set up an appointment. 859-373-0578. 859-373-0578. Cameron Drummond coming up next. Alan Cutler, 1300 AM, 92.5 FM.
No Filter Radio with Alan Cutler, brought to you by Quantrell Auto Group. QuantrellForLife.com.
Hi, this is Alan Cutler. Have a no filter comment? Hit the text line, 859-381-1313. 859-381-1313. Driving should feel personal, protected, centered, completely at ease the moment you pull onto the road. That's the Volvo difference. Thoughtful design, quiet confidence, and safety always working in the background so you can simply breathe and drive. Plus, the luxury of Volvo is more within reach than expected. That's why Volvo deserves your first look. At Quattro Volvo, friends, Brentley and Mark, they have built a dealership that's calm, respectful, and genuinely helpful. Right now, get 1.99% APR for up to 60 months on most 2026 models. See dealer for details. Visit QuattroVolvo.com today.
Hey, I'm Dale Wise. I've just recently retired. I know that the electronics, if you don't keep up with it, it can get away from you and get real confusing. Republic Bank's app, I use their app. And it is so easy to use. I log in with my fingerprint, so it's super easy. I don't have to remember 50 million different passwords and all that stuff. And it lays it out just real nice.
That's Dale's story. Now let's get to work on yours. Republic Bank. Time to thrive. Member FDIC. Data rates may apply.
Houchins Insurance Group is proud to partner with Auto Owners Insurance, a company that provides opportunity for independent agents to make insurance simple for their clients, offering risk management services that range from a renter's policy for your college student to home and auto coverage for your entire family. Houchins Insurance Group assures you that nobody works harder to keep you protected from life's uncertainties.
Reach out to AJ Boss or Zach Bennett at 859-263-2771 to see if Auto Owners Insurance makes sense for you.
Back to No Filter Radio with Alan Cutler. Podcasts on Apple, Spotify, and Google, Monday through Friday.
Welcome back. Alan Cutler, 1300 AM, 92.5 FM. Cameron Drummond will join us as soon as he turns his microphone on, which would be a beautiful thing. Hello, Cameron, Lexington Herald Leader. How are you, dude?
I'm doing great. Listen, I was waiting for an intro. I didn't want to overstep my boundaries or just walk into a situation when I wasn't properly prompted, but I'm here now and ready to roll.
Well, that's too efficient for me. Good for you. So you tell me, you're like a jack of all trades. You do a lot of different things for the Herald Leader. We had a lovely conversation in the press box at Keeneland. They're offbeat stories you're going to do in the summertime, but do you have a beat or certain things that you're concentrating on? Or does the editor say, hey, Cameron, why don't you do this week? How's that go?
Well, it's a little bit of everything, like you kind of just described there. Obviously, the lion's share of the focus that I do throughout most of the year, and especially right now, is focused on the UK men's basketball program, high school recruiting, the transfer portal, which obviously I know we'll get to in a second, and is all the rage right now. Kind of not for the most optimal reasons for UK fans out there, but obviously we're just a couple of weeks away from the Kentucky Derby. You mentioned that we ran into each other up in the press box at Keeneland over the weekend, which is always great to see you and the folks up there. And then I'll actually be even out at the UK football spring game on Saturday morning to get an early look at what Will Stein's got going for his first Kentucky team. So I'm seemingly everywhere all at once, but wouldn't have it any other way. And I like being busy and kind of getting to drop in and feed off of the different beats and different sports opportunities that we have here in Central Kentucky to cover.
Yeah, you look like you're having fun. And no matter what you do in life, if you enjoy doing what you're doing, I was blessed that way. I always like seeing young people get in the business, male, female, I don't care, who like what they do, enjoy what they do, and feel blessed for what they're doing. And that was one of the things I said, oh, this is a really cool young man. I want to have him on the show. That's why I decided to ask you whenever the first time was. You had a smile on your face and you look like you enjoyed working.
Well, I appreciate it. Yeah, and I've got a great group of colleagues here at the Herald Leader. We're still going strong over at Kentucky.com, Kentucky.com/sports. Especially our sports staff as well. This crazy time of year, whether it's Ben Roberts joining me on the men's beat, John Hale on the football beat, Jared Peck covering high schools, or Caroline McCauskis on the women's beat and doing her video stand-ups. We got a lot of great people, helping create page views, helping hopefully inform UK fans out there about all the information that they need to know. So I'm happy to do it with a great group of people around me as well.
Rob Wright, going back to BYU, to me, if I'm a Kentucky fan, that hurts because I think Goodman has good sources. Jeff Goodman, who said he thought Kentucky was in the lead. It was between BYU and Kentucky. Let's get away from BYU and Kentucky for a second. To me, anytime it's the school where you're at and another school, the school where you're at, you know where the warts are, you know where the good stuff is, you know all that. And I wondered, and I don't know, I wondered if he was one to see what Kentucky has. That's great. And I wonder if he was to raise the price. Now, I do know this. When someone says something is a final offer, oftentimes that's BS. So, Matt Jones in his show said he was told that BYU said it's a final offer, and maybe it was. I'm going to tell you, I don't know, just being straight the way I am. I do know this. When somebody says last offer, there's so many examples that I know in my life that's BS. People raise offers that were final offers all the time. That doesn't mean they didn't. I think Kentucky had plenty of money. I don't think they were short money doing this. So people, if they think that, I don't believe it from what I know. But when you get a last offer, you might get a better last offer. So I don't know if money had anything to do with it or not. But according to Goodman, he could be wrong, but I think he's the best in college basketball with all the coaches that come 68, right? And on top of it, they trust him off the record that he won't say a word. His word is bond, and he gets information no one does. He thought that Wright, not a slam dunk, was leaning big towards UK when he got here, and when he left, Travis Branham, who is also really good. These are really good national people that I trust when they come out information. This is not fly-by-night BS at all. Said that Kentucky wasn't in the lead anymore, and it was BYU. And then today, you probably saw as well that Jeff Goodman said because Kentucky doesn't have a GM, that they weren't prepared enough to get right. Now, you decipher that, Cameron Drummond, as a reporter in your own way. If Stokes doesn't come, to me, that's a different story. Totally different. They needed this kid. Whether Stokes comes or not, we'll talk about that afterwards. It's honestly secondary because they should have been able to get this kid, and they desperately need a point guard. And this kid is a hell. And by the way, there are other really good point guards. This kid is a hell of a good point guard. I think this is a bad thing for Pope, and I'm not trying to blow it up, but I think this loss, when he had it done, I'm questioning like everybody else. When the roster is done, if it's really good, it doesn't matter that you lose these guys. I keep on saying it. It's not who you don't get, it's who you get. But right now, everybody is questioning. I've been doing it too. Can this man close? What say you, Cameron Drummond?
Yeah, I mean, there's certainly a myriad of ways you can take the Rob Wright discussion with him obviously deciding to return to BYU for his junior season. I want to start with the thing you kind of closed with there, the simple fact that Kentucky needs a point guard, and this is a position group that Mark Pope absolutely has to nail ahead of what will be a critical third season for him as the UK head coach. We've seen depth and injury issues be a very big factor in what's happened to Kentucky the past 2 seasons. Obviously, some of this stuff kind of falls into the freak accident department, right? I mean, Lamont Butler, one of the most durable physical players in the country for 4 years at San Diego State, comes here, has a productive 5th year of college basketball during Pope's first season, but still has a shoulder injury that limits him, to stopping him from reaching what his full potential playing at 100%. Who knows if that team is able to knock off Tennessee, make the Elite Eight, if Butler's full bore. Same with Kirk Kriisa that first season, only playing 9 games before suffering that foot injury in the Gonzaga game. Obviously, this past season, Kentucky was not prepared enough at point guard from either a depth or a talent perspective. We saw the struggles of Jasper Johnson when he was asked to fill in for Jalen Lowe, who also only played 9 games without much of an injury history prior to his Kentucky tenure. UK not adequately replacing a Caden Lewis and Travis Perry after they made some late decisions last offseason to depart. So all that's to say, that's the context that's informing everybody going into this offseason. where you know that Kentucky needs a point guard. They need a starting level point guard from the transfer portal. And you know that point guard has been a bit of an Achilles heel for this team over the past 2 years. You combine that with the fact that Rob Wright was the top available point guard in the transfer portal, the fact that he is a dynamic playmaker, creator. We've seen that throughout his first 2 college years at Baylor and BYU. Mark Pope on his final radio show of the season talking about how much he needs creators and how that's the player archetype that Kentucky is going to be pursuing the most aggressively this offseason. And then you got him on campus for a visit, and you had him on a campus for a visit with Tyron Stokes, obviously the top ranked high school recruit who is still uncommitted. UK and Kansas still neck and neck in that battle. You know, from what I've been able to decipher, UK liked the idea of a potential Stokes Wright pairing together. Thought those would be two guys who would function well together on the court, mesh well together off the court, all those things. And you mentioned it, Alan. UK had some really good positive buzz, momentum going into this visit. And it's certainly never good when the buzz dies down after a visit. You know, that's never, and that's something that we've seen, frankly, a couple times in Pope's tenure now with transfer portal recruits, with high school recruits. The fact that Kentucky is maybe not 100% nailing these visits, or guys are coming out these visits not necessarily ready to commit right away. And so obviously losing out on Wright is a huge blow. You referenced the fact that, you know, it's not that often that, you know, you go into the portal, you know, all the warts, you know, the good and the bad things about the program that you are leaving. You don't see a whole lot of guys do this thing where they jump in the portal and then return back to their school. Obviously, BYU was pretty aggressive in their pursuit of Wright. He was tremendous for them last year. He should pair actually quite nicely with Colin Chandler this coming season. So there's no quite, you know, Chandler for Wright swap like some people were talking about. But now all the attention goes to where does Pope and Kentucky pivot from here. Obviously, they had Zoom Diallo, the very talented in his own right Washington point guard, visit campus over the weekend. I don't think it's going to be quite as simple as phoning up Zoom Diallo and having him commit on the spot, though. I think UK is going to have to actually work again to recruit him, you know, whether that's a second campus visit, whether that's just waiting things more out on his timeline, because UK obviously prioritized Wright over Diallo and some other players in the portal to see how the dominoes shook out. But the fact of the matter is we are now at a stage where the portal's been officially open for more than a week. In-person visits have been allowed since last Friday. Kentucky still has no transfer portal commitments. I believe they only have 6 projected players for next season's roster currently, including incoming high school signee Mason Williams, who does play the point guard, but is still expected to be a depth piece on next season's team. And the long and short of it also is, you're right as well, whatever happens with the roster, all this stuff could be ruled elementary. You know, if Kentucky is somehow able to get out and get, you know, an Alan Graves type from Santa Clara, or Milan Momcilovic from Iowa State, if he decides not going to the draft, you know, there's plenty of dominoes still to fall. But right now, it is somewhat easy to see, especially from the outside and from the UK fan base perspective, the frustration, especially with this specific position group, because we've been told for a long time now that UK needs a point guard. We've seen what goes wrong the past 2 seasons when they don't have adequate depth, adequate talent. And now you've just swung and missed on the top point guard available in the portal.
You know, I do want to ask 1 or 2 things about horse racing. I got about 4 minutes, as Jimmy is telling me. But I find it interesting we're not hearing more things about the fact that Pal Kelsey is cleaning up at Louisville. And
Yeah,
why?
what a portal time they've had so far.
And somebody, I have no idea. Somebody's saying they got the most money. I don't know. Whatever money they have, it's enough to sign players. And I don't think money's a problem at Kentucky. I just don't. I know Jack Goose-Gibbons said they're going to have less money. When push comes to shove, money will find its way to players for Kentucky. So I don't buy that's an issue. There's enough money here for Pope to build a hell of a roster. I wonder if he's feeling some pressure now. I really do. And he is human. He might be really smart, but he is human. And at a certain point when you haven't signed someone, and I wonder if it changes you a little bit, just slightly, that swinging and missing on Stokes really doesn't bother me. I mean, I'd love for the kid to come here, but it really doesn't bother me. The right thing, that's a problem. But there are still good point guards out there. On a scale of 1 to 10, and I still stand by this, it's what the roster looks like at the end. On a scale of 1 to 10, how concerned should Kentucky fans be that he's going to, when it's all said and done, have a roster that looks like potential Final Four? Because if your roster doesn't look like potential Final Four every year. That doesn't mean they'll play that way. That doesn't mean somebody won't get hurt. But if it doesn't look that way, then this is not Kentucky basketball, generally speaking. Not perfect, not every year, but he needs to come up with a roster that looks like a potential Final Four. And I don't think that's being tough or obnoxious.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just kind of split the middle and say a 5 for now, simply because there's so many portal dominoes that are still to fall. Even on campus right now, they're hosting Syracuse sophomore forward Donnie Freeman. They've got visits lined up for today and later this week from the likes of Furman's Alex Wilkins and Colgate's Jalen Cox, Colorado's Sebastian Ranchik, guys that Kentucky's clearly identified as high upside plays, maybe not focal point A1 alpha types, but guys who should be nice complementary pieces on a team that could make a deep tournament run. And again, so much is still left to be decided. You don't know how even the season plays out with injuries. And frankly, we saw that Pope's first team, which meshed so well and played such a beautiful basketball style, didn't have that kind of top billing 5-star alpha recruit out of the transfer portal, right? And I think that was even something that people have criticized Pope for this past season, was overcorrecting his style of play, overcorrecting the type of player that they pursued and added to the roster. So obviously so much still left to shake out. But again, the longer this goes on without Kentucky having a portal commitment, the more the top 25, top 50 transfer prospects come off the board. I certainly don't think the task gets easier for Pope managing the situation. And I'm sure, UK fans out there will continue to be following and overreacting, whether that's a good or a bad thing at every turn.
Got a Derby horse?
I've been liking the Puma, and there's a lot of similarities. He's the same trainer, jockey combination, Gustavo Delgado, Javier Castellano, that won the 23 Kentucky Derby with Mage. Very similar in terms of the prep lead up as well. Both of the horses finished second in the Florida Derby. We've been talking, I think we talked to Keeneland in the press box about how it's been, 7-8 years since a horse actually won its final prep race before going into the Derby, with the exception of the COVID pandemic. But, those are two guys that obviously know what it takes to get it done. I like the Venezuela connections, similar ownership group style as well with that guy. But also Brad Cox. He's going to have 3 top contenders, still looking for his first legitimate Derby win, aside from the Medina Spirit Mandaloon disqualification in 21. So obviously watch out for the top favorites as well. Commandment, Full Effort, and then What Further Ado did at Keeneland, winning the Bluegrass by 11 lengths, trying to be the first Bluegrass winner to win the Derby since 1991. That's going to be a storyline to monitor as well.
Well, I appreciate your time, too. This is not fair how I'm going to end this. Give me your yes or no. Just a yes or no. Sorry, it's just what I feel. Should Kentucky fans be concerned about Mark Pope and what's happening in the portal? Yes or no?
Not yet. That's 2 words. Cop out. But I did say it.
I knew you were going to do that. You know what? The sad news is? I agree with you. If the roster looks good at the end, nobody will care. We lost it. Cal lost guys too. And Cal's going after Jasper hard. I said this early on, if you heard it, but I know Cal told Jasper, give me 7 months and I'll get you where you want to go. Is that a great recruiting pitch or what?
It's pretty easy when you got the track record that guy has.
Yeah, it is. Hey, man, give yourself a great plug, and I appreciate your time.
Of course, please, write or read, subscribe. Myself, my colleagues work, kentucky.com/sports. I'm over on X, the Everything app, at CDRUMMOND97. And yeah, Alan, appreciate you having me on, and I'm sure I'll be talking a little bit more as the lead up to Derby ramps up.
I hope so. Thanks, Cameron. Have a great day.
All right, appreciate it. Talk to you guys soon.
See you, man. Cameron Drummond, young guy, great potential, great future ahead of him. He's really good knowing his stuff. It was nice seeing him having a long chat in the press box. No show tomorrow. Reds baseball. Jimmy, try to survive a day without me. No. I know you're going to be fine. I know. Again, that smile. That smile.
I'll do my best.
Coming up Friday, Derek Johnson. That should be interesting. I think Jonathan Davis and Brandon Ramsey. We're kind of floating with stuff, and it's all good. Brad Taylor coming up next. Then at 4 o'clock.
Wildcat Drive with Matthew and Jimmy.
And your guest?
We actually have Kyle Tucker today. We had a schedule change yesterday. So Kyle Tucker today at 4:30. Ben Roberts at 5.
Sounds lovely. Have a great day. Thank you for listening. Thank you for telling one friend or two. Podcast will be up in a half hour. Our guests were great. Hal McCoy, I love you, dude. He's I have like 2 older brothers in the business, and it's Hal McCoy and Dick Hoops Weiss, and I am the one that's so lucky and blessed. Nick Roush, you got me. You're always special. And Cameron Drummond, what a future this